everyone to another episode of HatchNOW. I'm your host El-Hussein, and today we're going to be taking a look at the impact the Western Harbour Tunnel is having on the locals, the backlash and controversy surrounding cryptoland and what this could mean for the economy, and the launch of NASA's latest multi-billion-dollar program, the James Webb Telescope. But first up, controversy at this year's Open Grand Slam. The world's #1 tennis player, Novak Djokovic, who was held at an Australian detention centre due to COVID-related issues. With me is Al-Karkhey, who's been looking into the situation. Bella, what can you tell us about how this incident has affected other detainees at the same hotel?
That's right, Aya. As most people are aware of by now, world #1 tennis player Novak Djokovic has been detained in Melbourne for 5 days, after his visa was denied. But what's interesting about this is the tremendous attention that it's actually brought to the detainees in the same hotel. As we speak, over 30 refugees are still in detention, and some of them have been going on Twitter to just really open up about their struggles and with what they feel to be an unjust system. Mehdi Ali, who's been detained at Park Hotel for 2 years now and been in detention for 9 years since he was 15 years old. Now at 24 years of age, he spent most of his adult life disconnected from the outdoors, from his family, and just kept inside. Adnan Chapari, who has been detained for 9 years as well, and now at the age of 22, says that he was handcuffed and held by 2 officers at every appointment he's expected to go to.
And how has this issue been addressed by authorities?
Well, it hasn't been addressed so much as the fact that it's been really dismissed, if you think about it. Although the Australian Border Force did issue a statement on the 6th of this month regarding Djokovic's departure, they haven't really made any move to address the media controversy that's been surrounding the refugees in the hotel and the treatment they've been getting.
And considering this media controversy, will there be any effects left on Australian communities?
A number of people do think this has played a valuable role in just uncovering how refugees and asylum seekers are treated in Australia. There's been a lot of ongoing debate as to whether there needs to be any changes made at all and when they need to be made. One woman on Twitter even questioned whether the hate on Djokovic was necessary, given that no matter what side you're on, he did raise a lot of questions. And there's no denying that Djokovic's match against the Australian courts has shined a strong light on immigration laws and policies in Australia. This is going to be really interesting, especially to see how it will play out with the upcoming federal elections within the next few months.
Bella, on that report, with NFTs and cryptocurrencies making headlines all around the world, one group of entrepreneurs have decided to take it further and put it all onto a single island. Nicholas Finch is here to tell us more. Nick, why is this creating such controversy?
Well, to give a bit of context, we're talking about Cryptoland here, which is advertised as the first physical crypto island. Over $500,000 have been invested in the planning stage, and the ambitious goal of this project's leads is to turn a small island into a locale with houses, bars, entertainment venues, and workplaces for crypto enthusiasts and the select few who can actually invest in the project. The project has a nearly 20-minute pitch video, which has recently been made private for reasons I'll get into, which includes a 10-minute 3D animation created by, and this is a direct quote, Pixar-type production companies. The video includes a number of musical parodies and takes the audience around the currently planned layout of the island. The release of this video has caused some public backlash. Digital artist Camilla Bianchi claims an animation of a seagull she used was used without authorization in the video, though Cryptoland claims that all of their assets were legally obtained. The video also included heavy mockery of the BitConnect scam, to which former investor Carlos Matos has threatened legal action after seeing himself mocked in the video. Finally, Cryptoland's Twitter came under fire for responding to a tweet asking about the age of consent with mental maturity should be enough. This was apparently misinterpreted by one of the owners of Cryptoland's Twitter, who according to them is not a native speaker.
And how is this going to affect Cryptoland overall? Does this mean that it's dead before it's even launched?
I think the thing to understand about entrepreneurial projects is that they will never say it's dead. They're never going to say that they've stopped working on it, at least not in the near future. Their response, instead of shutting everything down, has been privating their pitch video, though the animation is still up, and locking the comments on relevant social media posts, as well as blocking the owner of the seagull animation, Camilla Bianchi. They have also posted a tweet claiming that they have received a bunch of undue hate, and that the real story you can get if you join them over on their Discord. So this is the narrative that they're currently trying to push. One thing I will say, though, is that the island in Fiji that they did plan to buy is up for sale once again. So their deal had fell through. So if they want to continue, they're going to have to figure something out there.
And what's the timeline looking like for crypto land entrepreneurs?
For this, they have not given a specific timeline. We could have presumed that this would have taken place over a fairly long time if you're building a whole island, but with these roadblocks, it's hard to say how much that will delay the project, if the project will be completed at all.
Thank you, Nick. It will certainly be interesting to see how that all unfolds. The scientific community is celebrating NASA's latest launch of their telescope, the James Webb, after almost 20 years of delay. Claire, why is this such an exciting frontier for astronomers?
Thanks, Aya. Yeah, it's a super exciting time for scientists as the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope marks a brand new frontier in space research and discovery. It just comes weeks after the Parker Solar Probe was the closest man-made probe to the sun and collected brand new data for scientists to analyze, which they hope will allow for a better understanding of our solar system. What's really exciting about the Webb telescope is that it will allow astronomers to look back into the universe shortly after the Big Bang. So scientists will be virtually time traveling with this technology. The telescope does this through NASA's most powerful mirror yet, also known as the Golden Eye, which will be scanning the cosmos for the first light and stars formed over 13 billion years ago.
And what's the main difference between the famous Hubble telescope and the newest, the James Webb?
Well, the Hubble has been an amazing tool for scientists and has produced some of the most iconic photos of our universe. However, the Webb telescope boasts a significantly larger mirror and will be able to scan deeper into the cosmos than ever before. The main difference in the two telescopes is the technology used for capturing images. The Webb telescope will be using infrared light to detect radiation in the universe, which will be able to see objects that are undetectable to the human eye.
And now I understand that this is a massive achievement as it's been a long battle to get this telescope up and running.
Yes, it's been a very long journey for the Webb telescope. The building process actually took NASA over 20 years to build and cost them upwards of $10 billion. In 2022, the mirror just opened on the 9th of January, and NASA said in a statement that Webb's successful deployment exemplifies the best of what NASA has to offer. The willingness to attempt bold and challenging things in the name of discovery is still unknown. So right now is a super exciting time for anyone with an interest in space research, and we are waiting to see what kind of things the telescope will uncover. If you'd like to track the progress of the telescope, you can go onto the Where is Webb website.
Thank you, Claire. It's definitely an exciting time for us all. 3 major city councils in Sydney have come together to push for electronic vehicles. Jordan Marsden joins us now to tell us more. Jordan, why is this such an important first step?
It's a important first step because the 3 local councils were the first to push these electric vehicle charging stations outside of any state or federal government backing. So it's a big step in that direction. And it's good for them in terms of the future because the eastern suburbs are a hotspot for tourism. And with the increase of electric vehicles over the next few decades, it's a good step for them to be on the forefront in terms of transport as well. Because in the next 20 years or so, over half of Australia's electric vehicle industry, over 50% of the car industry will be electric, including, matching countries like the UK and Canada, who have promised to have 100% of their electric vehicle vehicle market to be 100% by 2035 or earlier. Also, other car manufacturers such as Mazda, Volvo, Ford Europe have all committed to be 100% electric in the same time frame.
And what about the locals? How have they responded to these changes?
The three councils did a survey of over 400 residents where they found over 65% of them were in favour of owning an electric vehicle. You know, when the climate is on everyone's minds and climate agenda, it's a good thing to see people wanting to play their part.
Jordan on that report. And now heading over to the Australian Open in Melbourne. With all the controversy taking place prior to this tournament, things finally seem to be settling down. Adrian Sciglitano joins us now with the update.
That's right, Aya. This year's Australian Open hasn't been without controversy, with the world number one, Novak Djokovic, getting his visa denied upon entry into Australia. Fellow competitor Stefanos Tsitsipas has voiced his concerns about Djokovic, labelling the world number one tennis player daring upon entering Australia unvaccinated.
I can just come to Australia unvaccinated and not having to follow the protocols that they gave me, which is just, it takes a lot of daring to do, I think, and putting a Grand Slam kind of at risk.
And following the semi-finals, which star athletes should we be looking out for?
Well, that's right. It's a very exciting time for Australian tennis, with Ashley Barty becoming the first woman in 42 years to make the major final at Melbourne Park. She will take on USA competitor Danielle Collins tomorrow night at 7:30 on Rod Laver Arena. While on the men's side, 4 star athletes remain. Matteo Berrettini will take on Rafael Nadal in the first semi-final before Daniil Medvedev hits centre court against Stefanos Tsitsipas tonight. We can't forget our special Ks, Thanasi Kokkinakis and Nick Kyrgios, taking on Max Purcell and Matt Ebden in the men's doubles final. So it's all ahead of us, Aya, as we head into the final 3 days of the Open. Tomorrow night's women's grand final before wrapping up the Australian Open with Sunday night's men's singles final. Back to you, Aya.
Thanks, Adrian, for that update. Hollywood is now looking to break their dry spell and get moviegoers back into cinemas with some new exciting features that are set to come this coming year. Siena Wright joins us now to tell us more. Siena, how is Hollywood preparing for 2022?
Hey, Aya. Yes, Hollywood has big plans for 2022. They have come increasingly devoted to big budget blockbusters. Under the lockdowns, we've created a growing divide between visiting the cinema and watching movies at home, like your Netflix, your Binge, your Disney Plus, and your Prime Time. Going to the movies has survived not simply because films look better on the big screen, but because it's a social activity that we're all familiar with. We're comfortable with rituals such as popcorns and choc tops, and we all love them. And because we haven't been to the cinemas in a while, Hollywood has planned big releases and blockbusters, and the bar has been set a lot higher.
And Siena, which movie should we be looking out for this year?
It's quite an exciting year for movie fans. Coming out, we have Spider-Man: No Way Home with leading actor Tom Holland. We also have The 355, directed by Simon Kingbird, a fangirl favourite, Legal 3, starring Reese Witherspoon, and Hollywood has a big year ahead for children's films as well, so we should all be watching out for all of them.
Thanks, Siena. And that's all we have time for today on this episode of HatchNOW. I'm El-Hussein. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.